Welcome on into the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. We got another season review coming up today. It's the Fremantle Dockers 2025 season review. As each team gets eliminated from the season 2025, we are doing a full season review on each team. This is Fremantle, which means we're on to the teams that made finals. The all 10 of the teams that didn't make finals are already up on the channel, so go check them out. Plenty of good content over those 10 videos. This is the first one of the final series. We'll have GWS coming out tomorrow, and then working our way through each finals team as they get eliminated. So there'll be a couple more later this week, and then a couple next week, and then obviously we'll just have the final two. So we go through some of the all their games, just a quick look at each game. I look at all the key stats, I guess, for each team. I look at all the players, how they went compared to last year, position swaps, whatever, you name it. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up the episode. Should take about 25 or so minutes. So sit back. I hope you enjoy. Let me know in the comments below if you do or don't, or what you agree with. Yeah, other than that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that noti bell so you don't miss any drops. We do 2 podcasts every single week as well. They go live here, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so go check that out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button though. Something like about 80-90%, something like that, of my watch time is done by people not subscribed. Subscribing helps, so do it. Let's jump into it. That's what we're all here for. Fremantle Dockers 2025. What a weird season it was for them. 23 matches in the home and away season, 16 wins, 7 losses, finished 6th on the ladder. A pretty good season in terms of home and away success. Finals, unfortunately, one match. They did host the Gold Coast Suns and lost it, which means their end of season ranking is 8th. All our stats, by the way, is post their finals games. So, yeah, so obviously they've then played an extra game than teams that didn't make finals. So some of the stats and rankings will be a little bit off compared to previous videos. That's because there's been another game. Won't make a massive difference. Might just change a couple things here and there. Points for 85.7 points per game, sitting or ranking them in 9th. Offensively, 78.96 against is 6th best. So defensively, held up pretty well across the season. 34 players used, which is the second least amount of anyone of any club this season, which is crazy numbers. Shows that, I don't know, maybe most of their injuries were long-term ones, I guess. Just the 2 debutants this year, which is equal 15th most. Obviously, one of those debutants had an outstanding season and may be close to getting the rising star. We'll see how that shapes up in the next couple of weeks. Average age for the Fremantle Dockers this year was 24.89, which means they're the 15th oldest, so like 4th youngest team, and by far the youngest team that played finals. So that is a really positive sign. I think the next youngest was at like 25 and a half. So that is a really, really good sign for the Dockers. They are a very young team still. Average experience of 86.5 games, which is the 16th most experienced team. So once again, young, inexperienced team. They'll benefit a lot from this season. We'll see how that progresses, but you'd think that it should put them in good stead. Gave some finals experience to some players, some young players. We'll see where that progresses over the next couple of years. Record against the top 9 teams this year was pretty solid, 7 wins, 4 losses. Worthy of playing finals with that sort of record. Record against the bottom 9, 9 wins, 4 losses. So maybe dropped a couple more than they would have liked against bottom 9 teams, but overall not too bad. So looking at those records against top 9 and bottom 9, there's 7 wins against top 9 teams. They beat Geelong. They beat Collingwood. No, I've gone the wrong way around. That's losing. I wanted wins. My bad. Western Bulldogs, they beat twice. They beat Adelaide. They beat GWS. They beat Gold Coast. They beat Hawthorn. They beat Collingwood. So they were the 7 wins. Their 4 losses against bottom 9 teams were against Sydney, who were 10th, so probably the best of the bottom 9. They lost to Melbourne in round 6. They lost to St Kilda in round 8. So 3 of those losses were early season, and then they lost to Sydney a second time in round 17. So no terrible ones. Their start to the season was clearly a bit of an issue for them. Most years you win 16 games. Sixth maybe. 5th or 6th on the ladder is a maybe, but you'd think that you're very close to pushing top 4 with 16 wins. And their percentage was pretty poor, which meant that they finished 6th and not 4th with 16 wins this year. I look at their season game by game. It started horribly. When they lost by 78 points to Geelong down at GMHBA, it was a bad showing. They got absolutely thrashed that day. But, like a few other teams, they turned it around pretty quickly. Just 3-point loss to Sydney was a bit disappointing, but still a much better performance in round 2. And then they beat West Coast, Bulldogs, Richmond. West Coast and Richmond comfortably. Bulldogs is a big win, no doubt about it. It was at Optus, but still a really good win. To get themselves above the ledger, I guess, with 3 and 2. Then they had another little rough period over the next 4 weeks, losing to Melbourne, St Kilda and Collingwood. Obviously, Melbourne and St Kilda didn't end up going close to finals. That St Kilda one was a really big, bad loss. They really struggled that day. But in between, they did beat Adelaide at Optus Stadium by 18 points. So a really weird start to their season. Just the fact that they can beat Adelaide, who went on to win the minor premiership, but lose to St Kilda by 60 points, who barely put up a fight in the first half of the season especially. So round 9, that's sitting 4 wins, 5 losses. It's looking tough. And you look at the rest of the home and away season, it's a lot of green. They only lost 2 games in the rest of the home and away season. They beat GWS, Port Adelaide, Gold Coast going into the bye. Came out of the bye, beat North Melbourne, Essendon, St Kilda. Lost to Sydney for the second time in the year, this time at the SCG, before beating a couple Premier finals contending teams in Hawthorn, Collingwood. Then beat West Coast, Carlton, Port Adelaide. Got smacked by Brisbane in round 23, which was a really disappointing result for them. Could have cost them finals, but didn't. And then round 24, in a win or go home game, they beat the Bulldogs in what was probably one of their best performances of the year, in all honesty. Incredible run to end the home and away season. Winning, 12 out of their last 14 games coming into the end of the season is a really good run, and completely turned around the form that they had early season when they were 4 and 5. Went to finals, played Gold Coast at home, and disappointing result. There's no doubt about it. They only lost by a point. It was theirs for the taking late. They didn't manage to get it. Gold Coast progressed and Fremantle go home. It was a better finish than last year in many ways. Last year they were looking at potentially a top 4 finish to the home and away season with 4 weeks to go, and then they lost all 4 of those games to miss finals. This year they managed a much better finish to their season and qualified for finals. They did get bundled out in first game, but I think overall the experience will do them good. Moving on to some key stats. We're not going to go through every single one of them. We will go through bits and pieces. There's a lot here. Some of it important, some of it not so much. It just kind of gives us a little bit of an idea of their game plan and how they stack up compared to other teams. Kicks, they're a low kick team. Pretty high a pretty low kick percentage, sorry, is what I mean. Low kick, high handball team. Low disposal team, both, especially 4, giving up 9 disposals per game to the opposition. Not that that means a whole lot, but it's just an interesting fact. Reasonable disposal efficiency, especially compared to their opponents, so that's pretty good there. Inside 50 numbers, mid-range, I guess. 10th in the competition for, 5th against, so nothing too drastic either way. Contested footy, pretty good numbers, evenish, I guess. -1 per game, 11th in the competition. Intercepts, not a massive intercept team. Set and clearance team, for sure. 5th best offensively, 5th best defensively. Equates to 5th best overall. Stoppage clearances, not quite as good. You look at their numbers last year, they were the number 1 centre clearance team in the competition. That dropped off a bit this year. Maybe due to Hayden Young being injured a fair bit. Nat Fyfe obviously missed a fair bit. He missed a fair bit last year as well, but I don't think that was an issue. I think that was kind of, in a way, scripted. They were really good out of centre clearance last year at getting the clearances, but not scoring so much. So I think they put some more emphasis on other parts of the game. That's what it looked like to me. We've already gone through their offensive and defensive numbers in terms of scoring. Accuracy, 8th best in the competition. Not fantastic. Not terrible, though. Shots per inside 50, reasonably low down. 12th best in the competition. Not great numbers there. Tackles, 8th in the competition. We jumped down right to the bottom 6 columns, or 6 rows, sorry. And we got our scoring. Score sources, they were across the board, score sources, pretty even. 8th and 9th offensively from kick-in, stoppage, and turnovers. Defensively, really good against the kick-in. 3rd best in the competition. Okay in the other 2 areas. Overall, positive in all 3 areas. 2nd best in kick-in, in difference. 8th in stoppage scoring, and 9th from turnover. Jumping from score origin, they're really good from defensive half. 3rd best in the competition overall. Really good number. And as we said, they are, 5th best at centre clearance in the competition. 8th best at scoring. So slightly worse than the status quo, I guess, in terms of scoring from centre bounce compared to their clearance numbers. But still, they're in the top 8 teams in that regard. So not bad numbers. Not absolutely fantastic across the board, but they have some definite good signs, like especially that defensive half scoring from the score origin. Really good numbers there in terms of just 28 points per game from that area is 3rd best in the competition, and really did set them up this year quite well. We'll jump into the players now. These are all the players this season that missed at least 5 games throughout the year. Michael Walters didn't get on the park, so he missed all 24, did announce his retirement midway through the year. So well done to him on a great career, but unfortunately didn't get out on the park this year. James Aish, I think he may have also retired. I don't think I made that up. He missed 21 games this year, so didn't get much out of him either. Oscar McDonald missed 17. Nat Fyfe missed 16. He has also announced his retirement, but they didn't see a whole lot of him this year. Hayden Young missed 15. That was a big one. Nathan O'Driscoll missed 10. Jeremy Sharp and Jaeger O'Meara both missed 10. Alex Pearce and Neil Erasmus both missed 8. Corey Wagner, Sam Swiatkowski, and Sean Darcy all missed 7 games, and Matthew Johnson missed 6. Normally here in the rest of these videos, I do a little players that were at the club last year that weren't there this year spiel, but they basically didn't lose anyone last year to either retirement or to other clubs. I don't think they lost anyone. They delisted a few, but yeah, pretty much no outs, which it was a massive advantage for them, I think, this year. Keeping the list pretty much as good as it could have been. We'll jump into some stats now for each player on the list, or at least that played a game. Little explanation, I guess, around this. The rating is done by us. We rate every single player from every single game, goes into positions, gives us a ranking as well. So that's basically what this is. 2025 ranking and 2024 is there. Other than that, there's not too much else to explain on it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Their number 1 rated general defender this year, no surprise, Jordan Clark had a really good year, slightly above last year in both rating and rank, from 13th best general defender to 8th best this year. Great season from him. Luke Ryan dropped off a little bit, 6th down to 26th. I think he had a little bit more key defensive responsibilities at times this year. Still, overall, was a general defender in our ratings, but he certainly didn't rate as high as he did last year. Jordan Clark probably picked up a little bit of that slack, maybe. Moving through the rest of the general defenders, Corey Wagner, similar rating to last year, slightly up, not massively, but slightly up on last year. Bailey Banfield, he played 21 games, played more of a defensive role this year, did have a bit of a variety of general forward, midfield, and outside midfield and defensive. Overall, rated as a general defender. His rating slightly down on last year. Chapman, he's went down a fair bit from last year, 6 points. Carl Warner, he went down quite a bit. Obviously, last year he didn't play much though, so you can't take that rating too seriously. He played all but one game, this year. Rated not fantastically. Cooper Simpson played the 3 games. We saw a little bit from him. Maybe he'll be okay. Brandon Walker played just the 3 games. And the final one was James Aish, who also played just 3 games. As we said, I think he's retiring, but his rating was a long way short of where it was last year. On to their key defenders. A few of these missed a few games. So Alex Pearce played 16 games, missed 8. Pretty much dead even ranking from last year. That's as close as just about anybody got, I think, from last year to this year. Just 0.09 off his last year rating. Brennan Cox played 23 games. His rating, once again, pretty similar to last year. That's probably where they stand, those two at the moment. Oscar McDonald, last year we kind of ignored his rating. He only played 1 game. And yeah, this year played 7 matches. We saw enough from him, I think, to suggest that maybe he could be a key defender. Joshua Draper played 11 games. His rating slightly down on last year. Moving into the forward line, general forwards first. Sam Swiatkowski ends up the highest rated general forward. I think he was for them last year as well. 11th best general forward last year in the competition. This year, 23rd. So slightly down. Still pretty good, solid season from him. Murphy Reed, the first year player and potentially in line for a rising star. He's certainly one of the top 3 picks in that, I think. Had a fantastic season. His numbers were extraordinary. Compared to other first-year small forwards, he had arguably one of the better small forward first seasons you'll see on paper. Numbers were great. He affected big games in big moments too. So that's a really positive sign. Solid first year from him. Michael Frederick, okay, slightly up on last year, plus 17 ranking positions. Still got a bit of work to do. Got to maybe not be in and out of games so much. There's quite a few games where he was very quiet, but I think we saw some positive signs. Isaiah Dudley, kind of the same. Obviously, his rating not fantastic there. We'll see how he goes. I think he'll only get better. Quinton Narkle, who... Did he retire as well, possibly? Only played the 2 games. He came across from Port Adelaide, didn't do much in those 2 games, didn't play even half of either of them. So, I think he's retiring, or was he just delisted? One or the other. Either way. Not that surprising. Moving into the key forward line, I was about to go into the midfield. We haven't done key forwards yet. Josh Tracy, once again, really fantastic season from him. 6th best in the comp last year, 7th best this year. Really good numbers from him. He continues to take leaps and bounds, and I think we'll see that continue to rise. I think he's definitely someone that could be top 5 key forward in the competition next year, if not top 3. Paddy Voss, he definitely showed some good signs this year. He went from 62nd best key forward last year to number 30. He was their 3rd key forward last year. Finishes this season as their clear number 2 key forward. A fantastic back half of the year, highlighted by his, 6 goals against Collingwood at the MCG. I think he's got some really, really positive signs going for him, and I think we'll see some further development. I don't think he's reached his peak just yet. Jai Miss, he's the enigma of this whole team, I think, at the moment. 2 years ago, fantastic season, was probably their number one key forward, looked like he was going to be for the years to come. Obviously, all three of these key forwards are still very, very young. But his last 2 years, last year and this year, he hasn't done enough, I don't think. His rating last year was 50th best as a key forward. This year, it dropped to 55th best with a rating of 25.97. I still think he has the potential. I don't know what the reasoning for it is, but he's just really struggling to find another level or back to the level he was a couple seasons ago. We'll see if that turns around. I'm not saying it won't. I hope for his sake it does, but at the moment, he's their third key forward, I think, is basically the long and the short of it. Jumping into the midfield lines, this is where they're stacked for talent inside mids. There's no doubt about it. Andrew Brayshaw ends up their number one ranked inside mid this season. After last year, it was Sarong and then Hayden Young. He improved. Brayshaw went up +4 rating points from 20th best inside mid in the comp to 9th. Fantastic season from him, no doubt about it. Caleb Sarong, ditto, had another fantastic season. Slightly rated below Brayshaw, only just 14th best inside mid in the comp after being 5th last year. So slightly down, but I don't think he was worse than Brayshaw. I think he just had a couple quieter games than Brayshaw did. Hayden Young only played the 9 games, and a couple of them he didn't play even half the game. But he ends up ranked as the 25th best inside mid in terms of just rating. Slightly down on last year, but I think he showed late season when he came in exactly why they missed him a lot this year, because he's a different sort of player than the Brayshaw and Sarong. He has a really good boot on him, and he's just kind of that finisher, whereas the other two are the big clearance numbers, contested possession numbers. Hayden Young's that finisher. Shai Bolton, 23 games from him in his first season at the Dockers, showed some really good signs, ends up ranked basically where he was last year in his final games at Richmond. Good season. I think maybe he's certainly capable of a little bit more, so we'll see how that goes. Obviously, this is a pretty stacked midfield, but I think they just find room for him and rotate him through different positions. Erasmus, he played a lot more football this year. He rated solid, I think, for a young midfielder. Obviously, last year didn't get much game time. He definitely had a couple good games late season. Whether it was, I think the last game of the home and away season, he was really good. Jager O'Meara, 14 games. I mean, that's basically where he's at these days. He did play a bit more inside mid this year compared to last year. But I don't think we'll see him get higher. And Nat 5, that number does not do him justice at all, obviously. One of the greatest of the modern era. There's no doubt about it. His years in the mid-teens were fantastic. He nearly led Fremantle to a premiership 10 years ago, basically now. But injuries got their best of him over the last couple of years, and a bit disappointing in that fact. Outside mids, Matthew Johnson played 18 games, was their highest rated outside mid. Last year played a bit more inside mid time. I just don't think there's enough room in there for him at the moment, especially when all the others are fighting fit. But solid numbers from him. 16th best outside mid in the comp. Nathan O'Driscoll had a solid season. Ignore his rating from last year. It was unranked. He didn't play much games. I think I did even look earlier. I can't remember how many it was, but not many games last year. Rated okay. Jeremy Sharp, 14 games. His rating dropped a fair bit from last year. 42 last year to a 29 basically this year. Not fantastic numbers. We'll see how that goes in the future for him, but obviously a drop is never great, but at the same time, it's not the be all and end all of a player's season, I guess. I haven't done Ruckman yet. Ruckman, Luke Jackson was the big one. He was huge this year. 21 games, so played almost all the games, missed a couple. 3 in the end. He went from 14th best Ruckman in the competition to the clear 4th. So the 3 ahead of him were all clearly ahead of him, but he was in his own little bracket 4th. At one stage throughout the season, I think he was certainly top 3, but he might have been top 2. Ruckman at one point. Really great season from him. No doubt in my mind that he had a sensational season. His back end of the season maybe not as good as early season, but showed that he can play that role really well and even can play as a midfielder when needed. He's just a really freakish talent. Sean Darcy, his rating dropped a long way from last year where he was 6th best, highest rated ruckman in 2024. Back to 19th this year. I don't think they mind that too much. They might want a little bit more out of him in terms of rating, but at the same time, if he can play that sort of role, then Luke Jackson can play that backup ruckman midfield sort of role and rate as well as he does in that, then it's not so much of an issue. Liam Reedy had a really good pre-season. We didn't see much of him, just the one game. Didn't rate very highly in that game. So we'll see how that progresses for him in the future. But I think he has a bit of potential there. We just haven't seen it in the top level just yet. We'll go through the position summary now. So if you're new around here, we rate as we rate every player, as we've just seen. We then put them into little classes. So top 10% of each position is elite. 10 to 25 is top class. 25 to 40 is above average. 40% to 60% is average. 60% and below is below average. If you did not play at least 5 games in the season of at least 50% game time, you would be unranked. General defenders, 1 elite, 1 above average is a really good start. Key defense, just the 1 above average. They might need a little bit more out of the rest of their key defenders. I think they're capable of moving into at least the average category, the other couple. General forwards, 1 top class, 1 above average. Murphy Reid did spend a fair bit of the year in top class, just dropped out of there late. But they have some good stocks in their general forwards. Key forwards, they have the potential to be one of the best key forward lines in the competition. Top class, average, and below average this year. I can certainly see that being elite, top class, above average, if all 3 of them fire to the best of their abilities. Inside mids, they're stacked here. 1 elite, 2 top class. No doubt about it. They've got plenty of talent. Bolton is certainly capable of getting into at least average, if not above average. So there's a chance that they have at least 4 in that above average or better category next season. Outside mids, just the 1 in above average, and then ruck, obviously they're pretty stacked there. Top class 1, but below average. Sean Darcy as your backup, if Luke Jackson's not available, is pretty solid. Overall, 2 elite, 5 top class, 4 above average, so 11 players in the top 40% of their positions. Just the 14 players in the top 60% of their positions. It's slightly down on what some teams have, certainly some teams below them. But the players that they have up towards the top are very, very good. So it swings and roundabouts. I think they're certainly a team that's capable of having quite a lot of elite and top class players in the next season or 2. The final thing to look at in this episode is our BNF. This is not the official Fremantle BNF. This is the one that we do each and every week of the podcast. Top 5 rated players for every single game get votes. The winning team get 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2 for their top 5. The losing team get half of that, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Equates to this as the final vote tally for the Fremantle Dockers in season 2025. This is including the final elimination final that they lost to Gold Coast. Caleb Sarong ends up on top with 109 votes. Andrew Brayshaw, 101 in second. Luke Jackson, third place with 92. I think they're the clear 1, 2, and 3. Josh Tracy, probably the only one with an argument. Jordan Clark as well, maybe. I think those 5 were clearly their best 5 players. Jordan Clark 4th, Josh Tracy 5th. But I could make an argument for any of them to win the BNF. I think they're clearly the best 5 players they had this season. 6 is Bolton with 33. Luke Ryan in 7th, with Hayden Young also equal 7th with 18 votes. Murphy Reid in his first year is 9th. Michael Frederick 10. Sam Swiatowski equal with Frederick in 10th. Erasmus In 12th, Matty Johnson and Sean Darcy equal 13th, and then Corey Wagner, O'Meara, Oscar McDonald, and Paddy Voss all equal 15th with 8 votes. That's a wrap on the Fremantle Dockers season 2025. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you thought of their season. Will 2026 bring even better results for the Fremantle Dockers? They certainly showed some really good signs this year. With their age profile, you'd have to think they're only going to get better. They would certainly be thinking that internally. It was a season that promised a lot, certainly late towards the year, but they just didn't let themselves down a little bit against Gold Coast in that final. But yeah, that's a wrap on this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Go check out all the social medias. We're all Aussie Rules everywhere. Plenty of content every single day, so go check it out. I'm Jay. This is the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.